the commentary season begins for Joe Lydon and Ray French.
Yes, Steve, all thoughts of a possible move to a new £30 million stadium by Wigan are forgotten as the 92-years-old Central Park hosts yet another rugby occasion, and the visit of the Kangaroos, no ordinary occasion for the youngsters here in Lancashire. Wigan fans, many of them have trekked from Ireland, Scotland and Wales and the Channel Islands, would you believe it? And the first arrivals of the 4,000 to 5,000 Australians who are coming for the test were queuing up here as early as 12 o'clock. Superb entertainment from the highlights dance team, perfect conditions, the turf in excellent condition, and Wigan coach Graham West and Australia's scrum half, a hat-trick of tries at Leeds in midweek, Alan Langer, paid great respect to their opponents earlier when Richard Duckingfield spoke to them.
Very high, they're the world champions. They play some great rugby, very strong, fast and fit. We're going to have a hard game today.
Here, Alan, they're calling this the 4th test match. Is that how you see it?
Well, I think so. Wigan are a very strong side. They've got a lot of test players, a lot of New Zealand players, so it's going to be a very tough one today.
We've got to play mistake-free rugby, get involved, get amongst them make mistakes, and then score points.
Played Leeds already in Cumbria, and Wigan, they're going to come out strong today, so it's going to be a tough one, but I think the test series will be another great series.
Tell me about the subtle changes in positional places in the Wigan side. You've made some changes with Twingamala and with Henry Paul and with Gary Connolly, haven't you?
Well, Inga's going to mark Melman Inga. They're both the same size, and it should be a good clash. Gary Connolly, we changed him to centre last week, fullback last week, and within 2 minutes he'd scored a try. So we're hoping that it happens the same this week. 2 games so far, 2 runaway victories. I suppose you don't make anything of that, really, do you?
No, not really. But Leeds come out strong early, but we just had to, out enthuse them early and get on top, and that's what we did and got a roll on. But Wigan's going to be a different story today.
Wigan have won 6 of the 18 previous battles with the tourists, and there's no doubt about it that Wigan coach Graham West has picked a fine side. He switches Henry Paul to centre, wants to use his pace against Steve Renouf, while the giant 16-stone ex-All Black Vainga to Ingamala, he moves across in the middle, and he's going to mark Australia's equally big Mal Meninga. Seismologists should take note of the collisions. Gary Connolly in the full-back position that many consider his best. And Australia, coach Bobby Fulton gives the Canberra Raiders international trio, Ricky Stewart, Bradley Clyde and Steve Walters, their first outings of the tour in what looks a possible test lineup for Wembley. Wendell Saylor, after scoring 2 tries against Cumbria, has another chance to impress, and one to look out for is try-scoring sensation down under this season, the full-back from Canberra Raiders, Brett Mullins. Lively, attacking full-back, plenty of pace. He's one of 7 Canberra Raiders in this lineup. Ricky Stewart brought in for his first match. He's battling with the man we've just seen on our screens, Alan Langer, for the scrum half spot. Intense competition there. And a huge crowd, possibly the biggest crowd at Wigan for many a year. And there we see Australia with the advantage, and 1967 since Wigan last beat the Kangaroos. And 1 or 2 Australian supporters over here already. We're expecting 4,000 to 5,000 coming across on tours from Brisbane and Sydney, Dubbo, Wollongong, etc. Here, the first arrivals, and they look to be enjoying the sunshine, as do those youngsters. Great emphasis here at Wigan on the youngsters. Mini leagues in operation, many of them playing for the local amateur clubs. They were queuing here at Central Park this morning at around 12 o'clock. Great anticipation for this match. Wigan, possibly one club that can really test these Kangaroos. And Joe, what's the atmosphere been like this week? The preparations, have they been special?
Well, Ray, it's been a gradual build-up this week, steadily intensifying training through the week, ready for the 3 o'clock kick-off. We've obviously watched the Australian games to date, and like most people, have been suitably impressed. But we realise that it's our own performance this week that matters if we are to get the result that we really like today.
Yes, and the last few nervous minutes, the Chief Executive of the Rugby Football League, Maurice Lindsay, checking his watch. Everyone eagerly awaiting for the arrival of the Australians here, the world champions. 2 wins already on this tour, but it's Wigan to lead out, and it's Sean Edwards. Kelvin Skerritt back after that cheekbone fracture. Dennis Betts recovered from the knock to his ankle. Martin Offiah and Jason Robinson, we're looking for a lot of tries from them this afternoon. They certainly look in serious mood. There's a job to be done, and equally so, Mal Meninga, a record 4th tour. Brett Mullins, Michael Hancock, always a powerful wingman, tucked down. Laurie Daly, for me, the key figure at standoff. Paul Sirenen with the headband, the giant 17-stone second row prop. And one of the youngsters there, Brad Fittler, looking equally nervous. I'm sure Meninga's used his vast 12 years test experience to settle these Kangaroos down. 9 Great Britain internationals in this Wigan side. And just listen to that roar that greets Wigan. Tremendous support for Sean Edwards and his men. He knows how important this game is for British Rugby League, and as a pointer to the Test series. Great friends, Meninga and Edwards, yet great rivals. Australia, the green and gold, feared throughout the world in Rugby League. Well, Joe, you've been through this on many, many occasions. The feeling going through the Wigan players' minds.
Obviously nerves will be a big part now. They just want to get on with the game. You know, they get the start of the game, the kick-off, that's the big thing. When the whistle goes, the nerves tend to drain away from you, and you just concentrate on the 80 minutes ahead.
It is a fact, Joe, that as a player, you just can't wait for the kick-off, can you?
No, it's the same at Wembley. Any big game, big occasion, all those butterflies you have in your stomach, they soon disappear when the whistle goes and the first collision made.
There are the 2 skippers, Mal Meninga, a record 4th Kangaroo tour, and at an age I think I would kindly describe him as 30 years plus that. And Sean Edwards, well, 11 seasons in the game and bidding to become the Great Britain skipper. 2 great competitors on the world stage. The officials a little nervous too. Referee David Campbell from the Witness Society, once a wingman with St Helens, so he should have no problems keeping up with play, and celebrates his 40th birthday tomorrow. The man in charge of the Challenge Cup final at Wembley last season. 6 seasons as a Grade 1 official. A big game for him. And Wigan, the world club champions, versus Australia, the world champions. Records and pride at stake. I don't think, Joe, I've ever seen Central Park looking better.
Well, I think the Australians must have brought the weather with them. Obviously, we've seen the grand final over there, and a lot of the games that Australia have played in on this tour. The weather today is beautiful, and I'm sure just what they wanted, if not Wigan.
Fano Botica about to kick off, and that man there, a lot to live up to, Wendell Saylor. And we're off. Paul Sirenen bringing it ahead already. I think we can sense some bite into that to tackle there. Martin Hall and Kelvin Skerritt right into the Australians. But in the Sydney League, players there, like Bradley Clyde, used to the intensity of this tackle. Joe, you've been heavily involved in the sort of tactics this week. Is this what Wigan plan to keep Australia down here in the early stages?
Yeah, we needed a good start against Australia, but more importantly, you have to intensify that for 80 minutes. It doesn't look like it's happening right now with a marvellous break there from Steve Walters.
And that certainly wasn't the start that was needed. Wendell Saylor being forced into touch, but Steve Walters there taking advantage of a little slack marking.
That's the kind of quality player that the Australian side possesses. They're on the back foot, they're trying to bring the ball out of their own overthrown try line and then make a break almost the full length of the field.
So, first scrum of the match. Gary Connolly taking the ball up there from the full-back position. Played against many of these players, Connolly, with Canterbury Bankstown. Oh, and a bad mistake there from Martin Offiah. Little casual drifting across field. Puts the pressure on his Wigan teammates. He knows.
2 mistakes, Ray, in the first couple of minutes. Firstly, we let Steve Walters run from the acting half-back position, and then Martin maybe took his eye off the ball, a few nerves.
Daly, good pass to Steve Renouf. Renouf, the Brisbane Broncos centre. Meninga, back to Ian Roberts, number 10. A favourite here at Wigan in the mid-80s, played 19 games for the Wigan club. Number 10, Ian Roberts, and number 8, Dean Pay. I was very impressed with him at Leeds on Wednesday night. To Ricky Stewart, putting the development through. Oh, and here's a good chance. He's racing through. And number 12, Bradley Clyde. He's in for the touchdown. And that's a dramatic blow for Australia. Clyde, normally in the loose forward position, stung everybody there. First try on tour in his first appearance. A real blow to the British champions. Bradley Clyde. And the man who told me this week that he wanted to play in Wigan to improve his game.
You notice here the switch back inside. The ball there behind the player. Bradley Clyde takes the ball on the bus, running straight. Gary Connolly can't get across to cover him. A great try to start the game. Just what the Australians wanted, but not Wigan.
Yes, Joe, Bobby Fulton's been talking about the pace in this pack, and there we really see it go. It's like a centre flying through there. Good try. And the goal kicker, surprisingly, Laurie Daly rather than Mal Meninga. Laurie Daly about to take the kick. Meninga receiving treatment for a cut on the head, so Laurie Daly taking over the goal-kicking duties. Quite ironical. Meninga's been practicing for 6 months with one of these English balls, and the first opportunity here, he misses it. Good kick. So, the extra 2 points, and Australia, the world champions, really throwing down the gauntlet. 6-0.
This is only the second set of 6 that the Australians had had. You see Ricky Stewart here, dumping to the outside. The ball behind Brad Fittler to Bradley Clyde, and with the power and strength he's got, straight between the posts.
Kick again to the same position. Saylor coming away just inside Australia's 20-metre area. The scorer, the 18th Kangaroos to visit Great Britain since 1908, and according to coach Bob Fulton, one of the strongest. And they certainly looked at these forwards taking control in these early stages there. Sirenen and Stewart at the helm, putting pressure on Gary Connolly, but he's up to it. He's got Robinson outside him. Well tackled there by Steve Renouf. Wigan hoping to break this 39 successive club match winning run of the Australians, stretching back way to 1978. Botica. Andy Farrell. Edwards looking to move out wide to Henry Paul. Now then, he's got Connolly. Good tackling again with Steve Renouf. Edwards trying to make Wendell Saylor turn. He does do, but he's got plenty of room there. Clark and Skerritt up, but they missed the man. Now then, he's got tremendous pace and sidestep. Oh, he had Brasher inside, but Offiah's got greater pace. And Wigan are really looking vulnerable in the middle. That's twice we've seen men come through in that green and gold jersey. Australia then on the attack. Daly gets the pass out to Renouf. Renouf, not a good pass. And a breather for Wigan. All credit to Martin Offiah there. He used some of that blistering pace that we've seen to get back on Sailor. And it needed Offiah.
It did need Offiah. It also needed a bad ball from Renouf here to save Wigan's vacant, really. The ball went into touch there. It looked like they could have scored again.
So, Wigan will be looking here now to build safely on this series of 6 tackles. Neil Cowie driving it forward. Needs a lot of work from this Wigan pack to reassert themselves. Phil Clark. Wigan loose forward. Martin Hall, ex-Rochdale Hornets lad. And one of the many amateur rugby league products in this Wigan pack. Won the Dennis Betts from Lee Rangers. Edwards had time to pick his kick, sends Brett Mullins back, but Mullins takes it on the bounce. And that's good good driving up there by Dennis Betts, Joe.
Yeah, they chased well then. They had a good kick chase team, a flat line. But they had one on the previous kick chase as well and let Wendell Sailor go straight through the middle.
Meninga back on the field now, having suffered a cut to the head. And Sailor certainly in the action, looking for a place at Wembley for that first John Smith's test. Roberts, big, tall, manly forward. Stewart. Good switch to Daly. Oh, back again to Brad Fittler. Fittler wants to stand off in the centre. Offloads the ball like one. Back to Steve Walters. Certainly these Australians indulging in some superb handling. Daly again, Wigan again, slack around the marker system. Oh, Tuingamala there. In for the first tackle on Mal Meninga. That's one of the clashes we were talking about. Stewart. Good chip kick, well taken there by that hooker, Martin Hall. He saved the day, Joe.
He did. I think one of the key things we'll see today is the Australian Ricky Stewart at halfback, spraying these long passes wide and also switching the point of attack from one side to the other, and it's caught Wigan on a few occasions.
What sort of defence are Wigan using then against that, Joe?
Well, they've been using the slide defence, but it's no good sliding if you're not going to make the tackle. Somebody has to be committed and take them on with the ball.
Henry Paul. Perhaps you should explain that sliding defence, Joe, to some of our viewers.
Yeah, basically the player on defence, once the ball has been passed, will move across and just tail the inside man to try and cover any move that might come back on the inside. But it's okay sliding if you're not going to make a tackle. You know, you have to make the tackle and stop the play.
Gary Connolly, a long kick, but well covered again by Brett Mullins. Been one of the outstanding successes for Canberra Raiders, the Aussie club champions this season. Sailor again. He certainly likes to come inside this lad from the Brisbane Broncos.
He's impressed throughout the domestic competition in Australia, Wendell Sailor. He's doing exactly the same on this tour. He's really fighting for a test spot.
The youngest member of the tour party. A chance. Henry Paul. Oh, Botica just couldn't hold it. Oh, Frano Botica, he was looking to pass that ball to someone in support. It was on his fingertips and it went to ground. Prolific Kiwi point scorer from the North Harbour club there in Auckland. So, scrum down again, Ricky Stewart to feed. And Australia not with the giant pack we've become accustomed to, and those two scrum halves, well, great competitors. They've played against each other before. You need a little bit of a temper to play scrum half in rugby league though, Joe, don't you?
You do. You have to have a chip on both shoulders if you want to wear the number 7 shirt in a good side.
And Sean Edwards being adjudged the transgressor. Another tactic by the Australians, very often using this wingman. He's a very big man, Michael Hancock, to come inside, soak up a little bit of pressure, draw the forwards in. And then we see the Kangaroos move it wide. Fittler trying to do such a thing, but a knock-on by Meninga.
Fittler with a long ball in front of Bradley Clyde there. Meninga just couldn't get his fingertips to it, a little bit low, and dropped it. So they do make mistakes as well, the Australians. It's not just the Wigan team today.
Actually, Joe, it's interesting. In the two games against Cumbria and Leeds, two big victories, but there were 35 handling mistakes from the Aussies.
Yeah, you know, they're over here now playing with a different type of ball. That could be something to do with it. And obviously they're still trying to knit together as a team yet. But I don't think you'll see that many mistakes today.
Henry Paul having a great battle there, but once again Wigan have surrendered possession. They just cannot afford to do this. Henry Paul, only a youngster. And a penalty against Wigan. Sean Edwards not lining up behind the marker, Franobotica. So Australia once again on the attack, led by Daly. Oh, and looking for Clyde again. Two teammates with Canberra Raiders know each other's play. Roberts, the prop, who has to bear the brunt. Good long pass once again from Stewart. Oh, and a superb inside pass. Renouf, he's got plenty of pace. He shrugs off Edwards. Can't get the ball away to Hancock. But this again, it's desperate for Wigan. Shuffling in defence here. Australia from left to right. Stewart looks for support. He finds Roberts. Dean Pay. Daly. Mullins. Oh, now did that look a forward pass? It is. But dare I say it, Joe, Australia are opening Wigan up in the middle.
They're splitting them all over the field, Ray, not just in the middle. These long passes from the likes of Daly and Stewart are making life very, very difficult for Wigan. And if that ball hadn't been slightly forward, that would have been another 4-point try for Australia.
Just coming up to 14 minutes gone so far, and Wigan trailing by 6 points to 0. Jason Robinson resisting a high elbow tackle from Brett Mullins, and Mr. Campbell giving the penalty. Skerritt again looking to play himself into the Test team, and that's significant, Joe, the territory advantage.
It is. It's shown the Australian dominance in this first opening quarter of an hour.
That's better there from Wigan's Andy Farrell. Phil Clark now then, the crowd really getting behind the home side. To Edwards. Neil Cowie just drawing in a couple of defenders, but Wigan now looking better. Edwards again to Henry Paul. He's got Twingamada outside. Oh, they can't put this man down. He's been in outstanding form as this ex-All Black. Edwards using the high one. It's spinning in the air. Hancock's underneath it. He takes it well. But a good tackle from Farrell. Now then, Wigan need to keep the pressure on Australia down here. They can't afford any gaps in the middle. And they can't afford this, Sergio. The acting half-back coming away like this. Oh, Ricky Stewart, superb handling. He's got big Mal Meninga on his inside. Meninga's there, but Gary Connolly's back. Again, sloppy defence at the marker around the play the ball. Puts Australia on the attack again. And good play from Gary Connolly. He comes up with the ball. The crowd trying to get behind this Wigan side. £250,000 signing. Connolly. For fire. Well, really, he shouldn't have to be taking the ball away. These are the men who should be taking it away. Calvin Skerritt. And we have Richard Duckyfield down there on the sidelines. What of the action, Richard?
Yes, Graham West, the Wigan coach, is concerned that Wigan aren't compressing the Australians when they've got the ball. He's also concerned that the Australians are tearing Wigan apart up the middle, with Laurie Daly, the Australian, doing most of the damage.
Yes, Laurie Daly, he didn't have such a good tour in 1990, only played in 5 matches with injuries, but he's certainly lighting up this trip. But I personally think, Joe, it's around the play the ball area where Wigan are slack.
Yeah, that's where Australia are making most of the yards, especially when Wigan have Australia on their own line, when they should be really keeping in there and putting a little bit of pressure on the Australians. They've been slack at marker and on 2 occasions let Australia come nearly the full length of the field.
When you think, Joe, there are over 300 play the balls in an average match, you know, you've got to get a grip of them, haven't you?
That's the first place you have to make things work right.
But this is better now. It's Wigan on the attack. Phil Clark. They desperately need points. Henry Paul, the young junior Kiwi. The ball needs to be moved quickly. Not a good pass. The ball must be moved very, very quickly from that acting half-back role and the first receiver. Dennis Betts, one man with the power and the pace to punch a hole in this Australian side. Jason Robinson trying to squeeze his way through. Oh yes, he's there! Jason Robinson, the youngster, Billy Whiz as he's known to those fans. He brings Wigan back in the game. At 6 points to 4, he's been in excellent form this season, and Wigan certainly needed it from that youngster. Sheer strength from such a small man. Wriggled his way through. No respect to the reputations, and the 4 points are there.
It's that size you mentioned, Ray, that helps him here. Comes off the blindside wing to give the forwards a hand, really. Takes them on in his size and his low centre of gravity. Pushes away from Ricky Stewart, dives over the line. And that's just exactly what Wigan needed to get back in this game.
Yes, people say he's only a youngster and he's small, but tremendous upper body strength. Just look at him here. Powerful, shrugs off Ricky Stewart, and he's in. And delight on his face. Well, 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 he loves that. So, Frano Botica, not scored a lot of goals this season, has been out injured, but of course the #1 goal kicker in World Rugby League, raced to 1,000 points in just 93 matches here with Wigan. A crack marksman, not the easiest of kicks. But to Botica, it's no problem. He puts them between those uprights with great regularity. And at last, something for those little lads and girls to smile about. Wigan 6, Australia 6.
Very kind of like at the acting half-back, just pops the ball up to Jason Robinson. I think the Australians were expecting a forward to come charging on that. Instead, they had small, fast Jason Robinson. And I say a lot of players, both in our game and overseas, think they can take this man high because he's small, but he has that upper body strength, and on that occasion, powered over the line.
Yes, a lot of works on the weights during the summer for that wingman Jason Robinson. And here's another youngster. Farrell. Edwards beginning to come more and more into the game and bringing the likes of Betts and Farrell and Phil Clark now. It's the Aussies on the back pedal. Calvin Skerritt driving in. Suddenly Wigan have moved up a notch, Joe.
They've had to do, Ray. But let's hope that try now will settle down a little bit and they can play some football and really put the Australians under a little bit of pressure, both with the ball and on defence.
Would you encourage Shaun Edwards to be kicking downfield at this stage?
Yes, but if he does kick, they have to have a good chase, and also once they've made that chase, they have to keep Australia pinned down in their own territory for a period of time, just to put a little bit of pressure on them.
Cowie, Hall, Edwards, Botica again, good positioning, that's a good one to Henry Paul. Very quick, this junior Kiwi from the Auckland Warriors, deliberately playing on Steve Renouf today, the two speedy centres. Edwards, back to Farrell. Edwards again. Clark finds support in Betts, but the Australian defence up very, very quickly. Back to Edwards again, keeping this ball moving. Botica down this side, he's got Turingamala. Turingamala going himself. Wendell Saylor did a good tackling job there, but still Wigan on the attack. Martin Hall driving forward. Clark. Edwards, Australia on the rack here at the moment. And is that a penalty? Mr. Campbell blew the whistle very, very quickly. Just taking his time, sorting the matter out. He's certainly going to have a word with somebody. He wants the clock stopping. He's going to have a word with Kelvin Skerritt. And Kelvin Skerritt going in the sin bin for... Well, he signalled with his left hand that it was for yapping, for talking back.
I think Ray gave the initial penalty here for using the elbow when he came in with the ball. And then after the penalty was given, Kelvin Skerritt must have said something to the referee, which has resulted in 10 minutes in the sin bin.
Well, certainly Skerritt should not have been leading with the elbow, but that sin bin there, which could be costly to Wigan. Too much talk. Very firm decision there from Mr. Campbell. Wendell Saylor getting a little upset. Dean Pay, good pass out there. Stewart plays the dummy. Can't shrug off Phil Clark. Roberts. A big task for Wigan now, down to 12 men. They need to hold Australia in this spell. It's bad enough with 13 to hold the world champions.
That's right. Wigan had Australia under that bit of pressure that they needed to get on them. And then Kelvin gives a penalty away, and worse than that, leaves the field through saying something to the referee. And as you say, we just can't afford to play against Australia with only 12 men.
And there's a top team. They know they've got 13 players to 12, and they kick for position. They want to contain Wigan down this corner, soak up the 6 tackles, and then in theory retain the ball. Robinson again coming in midfield. He relishes work, does this little lad. Betts.
And news of Kelvin Skerritt from the Wigan bench. The only problem is not the time in the sin bin he's got, but his left thumb. It might be fractured. It might just be dislocated, but the Wigan doctor has been looking carefully at it, and he's going to take a decision very shortly about whether Skerritt will be able to continue.
Well, if Kelvin Skerritt can't continue, they certainly have 2 more props in McDermott and O'Connor to come on. Stewart, Daly, causing problems in midfield, using this man, Steve Renouf, very, very well. Broke the Brisbane Broncos' try-scoring record this season. Clyde. Not really picking Bradley Clyde, Joe.
No, he's making some big inroads into the Wigan defence. They're not making the tackles on him, and also they're not moving up, I don't think, fast enough to shut him down.
Let's not forget that the score still Australia 6, Wigan 6, and Wigan holding out with 12 men. Australia driving forward, just 5 metres from that Wigan line. Moving, oh, good ball, superb ball to Dean Pay, he's in, and it was that man, Ricky Stewart again. And what a tour this young man's having, Dean Pay. He was outstanding at Leeds on Wednesday night. Took the pass perfectly, and it's 10-6 for Australia.
Once again, you'll see this try orchestrated by Ricky Stewart. He'd taken the play round to the right-hand side first, quick play of the ball, Walters, and then a long ball again here from Ricky Stewart. Perfect timing onto the pass. And there's Dean Pay going under the post.
And it's Malmaninga now to take the kick. Should be a simple one for the giant Kangaroo skipper. Just one try on this tour, but over 272 points in his Test career. And there's another 2 points from Meninga. So Australia in the lead by 12 points to 6 and taking advantage of the sin binning of Kelvin Skerritt. And Mick Cassidy coming on, Joe, for Neil Cowie.
This is the try, though, Ray. I think the Wigan defence actually ready. They moved up quite fast, but he just went between the two of them and neither made the tackle.
Very speedy for a prop. Number 8, Dean Pay.
It was also the speed of the pass that made the impact there as well. Not only the straight running of Dean Pay.
Do you think Cassidy coming on for Cowie because Kelvin Skerritt has gone off, a fresh man while there's only 12 men?
Yeah, I think they were going to spell them, despite Kelvin going off, they were going to spell the forwards with 3 forwards on the bench and the pace of the game. You know, I think that we had to do that.
We are playing under local rules, if we call it, for the substitutions. The two sides can make 4 substitutions. They have 4 players, but only 4 substitutions can be made. Stewart's electing to kick this time. Just quite content to soak up yards and push Gary Connolly back there. Go on. Almost inside Meninga, but not quite. And there is Mick Cassidy. Botica. The Australians tackling relentlessly, moving in very, very quick. They tend to play a sort of wedge defence around the play of the ball. The defenders very, very close to the play of the ball. And a quickly taken penalty there for Sirenen being offside at the play of the ball. Robinson. Botica. Oh, the pass, I think, a little bit too far forward for Paul. Saylor. Wigan on a winning run themselves, 15 matches without defeat, stretching back to April of last season. But under pressure here. And here is this prop forward again. He's certainly making a bid for a test spot, Joe.
As are all the teams, all the Australians out there today. But you mentioned before that while Kelvin Skerritt's off the field, we're a man short. The Australians are using the space that's out wide.
The fire putting Sean Edwards in trouble. I don't think he'll thank Martin for that pass. But Twingamala coming back, and sensibly coming back to use his bulk attacking half-back, but drops the ball. The intention was there, but not gone well.
But that's a big mistake, Ray. Not only to give the ball away to the Australian team, but in your own half of the field as well.
Fittler and Australia still punishing Wigan with this numerical advantage. Sirenen pounding for the line himself. Good stop there by Gary Connolly. Just 4 minutes remaining for Skerritt in the sin bin. Australia moving the ball wide. Laurie Daly finds Meninga. Meninga powering forward. Well held. Stewart to Daly. And the 6th tackle. Wigan back on their line. Will Stewart kick? Yes, he does. The cross ball. Oh, surely Hancock was in front there. He is. Offside. Michael Hancock, well, he's protesting about the 10 yards, but if he doesn't know 10 yards, I would like him to put a carpet down for me.
It was a well-practiced move, though. They had 3 Australians there just with Jason Robertson covering. A pinpoint accurate kick.
The tackler must not encroach within 10 yards of the player receiving the ball, unless the player actually knocks up. Relief again for Wigan. Chase Betts was doubtful earlier this week with a knock to the foot, as was Edwards here with a thigh injury. Good launching, Andrew Farrell. Good defensive work by these Australian forwards. Back to Cassidy. And this tight, tough defence in midfield, just disconcerting Wigan, but let's not forget they are a man short on the attack. Trying to keep the ball moving. Connolly again. Can he get through the middle there? Good tackle by Meninga. On the sixth tackle, Betts kicks himself. And a good effort too. Well kept in by Hancock. Well, a good pass eventually to Mullins. Oh, he's got Renouf with him. Good support play. But good defence again from Wigan. Sean Edwards getting back there, using that role as a sweeper. The switch, back to Fittler. Fittler, as good loose forwards do, carrying the ball outstretched, and Skerrett back on the field now. So Wigan back to 13. Roberts, good pass. It looked a forward pass to me, but it seemed to get away with it. Laurie Daly going in for the try. Boos all around from the crowd. It certainly was a marginal pass, but Daly raced onto it, took Wigan once again by surprise. And the score counts. Mr. Campbell awards it 16-6 to Australia.
Just when Kelvin Skerrett gets back on the field, maybe he should have brought somebody else with him. Ian Roberts runs out here, lovely ball. I think it was marginal, but I think the pass was okay. When you've got pace and strength like that running the line, Gary Connolly, he's a quick lad, couldn't get across.
Yes, we've got Roberts going across the just about marginal, but doesn't Daly take it well. His first try on British soil. He was the only back not to score in 1990. And he celebrates that one. Are we giving him the benefit of the doubt, Joe?
Well, the referee has, and you'll read in the papers tomorrow, that's a try.
Meninga. On his farewell tour to Great Britain, retires at the end of this trip to Britain and France. Been a great servant to the game down under and saw good service at St Helens in 1984. Helping them to win 2 cups. Mal Meninga. Oh, and that's accurate, true, well struck. 2 points.
You see Ian Roberts here coming slightly across the field on an angle, and Laurie Daly straightening up, running straight and hard and true. Just caused a little bit of indecision in the covering defence, and Daly straightens it up, and then they're in 2 minds.
Yes, showed great speed there, did the Canberra Raiders standoff. Tipped as the next captain after Meninga for the Kangaroos. So Wigan trailing by 18 points to 6. Oh, and Walters coming through again. He's having a fine game, this man. It's his debut on tour.
There's Kelvin Skerrett. He's indicating that his thumb's not right. He just looked at the bench twice. He's grimacing, holding his thumb.
Good pick-up by Martin Offiah. Needs something special from this man to pull Wigan back into the game. Robinson. Just 5 minutes remaining in this first half. Wigan desperate to get some more points on the board. Panabotica, but well held by Fittler. Farrell having a good game. This youngster charging, and there we see Kelvin Skerrett not happy with that thumb. Possible dislocation, and that could be a blow for Great Britain coach Ellery Hanley. He selects the side on Monday, and one would have hoped that Kelvin Skerrett would be in the test team. Saylor kept his eye on the ball, took it well, and beats the two men. Sends Mullins down the centre.
The Australians are always prepared to throw that pass, even if it's a little risky. They still let go of the ball, knowing that if they do make the break, then they've got the support there and make a large amount of ground.
Dean Pay to Renouf. Oh, and Renouf does certainly not stop this man. He's a flyer. He's in for the try. Steve Renouf. Again, another try coming out of nothing. The flyer from Wondai in Queensland puts the score out to 22-6, and he had that man Dean Pay to thank once again.
Wigan are looking a little ragged now, must be said. Pay goes across, shows the ball. It was Martin Hall, I think, who slipped there in defence, left the gap. And Steve Renouf will accept a try like that any day. Tremendous speed to the line, you'll not stop him.
Well, Henry Paul, the Kiwi, was put on Renouf to halt him, but he's nowhere thereabouts, and Renouf really too much pace for the Wigan cover. Gary Connolly, a vain attempt, just can't quite get there. And it's a try, but that's the man who made it again.
It is, yes. You mentioned that the centre was out of position. Martin Hall was there, slipped in the defensive line, and Renouf speeds through the gap.
So this huge crowd here at Central Park, very quiet as Mal Meninga and his green and golds give a superb rugby exhibition. A lot of talking, a lot of consternation there behind the posts. Certainly not lacking in effort or application, this Wigan side. A long time to go yet. And Meninga, one of the few straight-on kickers in the game, misses the kick. But I don't think it'll be of too much concern to him. 22-6 in the visitors' favour.
Here we have the try again. You'll see Martin Hall caught out wide in the centres. Left the gap. And Steve Renouf straight through, running hard and fast. Gary Connolly comes across, but just can't push him out anyway. He's going to score. We mentioned though earlier that the Australians, Ray, want to force this ball. They want to pass the ball on the tackle, and it's causing Wigan an awful lot of problems.
That was Sean Edwards then launching an attack, looking for the gap down the middle, doesn't find it. Fickler comes across well. I was talking to Bobby Fulton in midweek, and he was saying that British fans would see a different style of Australia, a much more open style this time.
And that's exactly what we're seeing. That they're throwing the pass about, they're backing up, they're supporting each other. And in the past we've seen just a steady grinding game where they've won possibly in the last 10-15 minutes. Now they're throwing the ball around, they're playing some very attractive football, and it's paying off.
And certainly his proud boast to me this week that he's got a set of the fastest forwards in the world looks to be true. Bradley Clyde there again. Stewart, Daly, and Hancock coming in well off the wing. All these Australians now looking for the ball, but good tackle there by Tuingamala. Roberts. And another good tackle there by McDermott, the substitute. Fittler. Oh, good one-handed passes from Walters and Fittler. And another good pass from Sirenen out of the tackle. Dean Pay again, this number 8, he's running like a back. The fifth tackle. Stewart. A little chip kick, Robinson's there. Sensibly just knocks it back.
But it's more pressure on the Wigan side. When Wigan make the tackle, they have to get somebody around the back of the play to stop them offloading this ball. It's going to be very tiring for them to do so, but somebody has to go into the tackle, and if they can't stop the ball, then another player has to go around and stop them offloading the ball to a support.
Bobby Fulton there, and Jeff Carr, the manager, just making their way to the dressing rooms. Obviously, must be content with this first half. Hancock again. He always takes some putting down, does this Michael Hancock. He's 14.5 stone, powerful runner. Stewart, Clyde, revelling in this second row spot. And Hancock on the wing. Fittler, the man whom I think Bobby Fulton is grooming for the test loose forward position. A good ball handler. Another good ball angler here. Stewart launches the big Meninga, and a clash there between Meninga and Tuingamala. There's something like 32, 33 stones there. Walters. He still gets that ball away, as does Sirinen. Stewart. Good recovery there from Robinson. A little fisticuffs in the middle there. Sirinen and McDermott, and Sirinen looks quite aggrieved. He's a big man to tangle with. 6'6", 17 stone 11. You don't tangle with him so very often. But Barry McDermott prepared to mix it, but certainly not referee David Campbell. And let's be quite honest, we don't want any of that. We've had some superb rugby, an exhibition from the Australians, and good passing and running from that man Sirinen. But
I think Sirinen was a little bit upset that he was hit after the ball had gone. Barry McDermott continued the tackle, put him to the ground, and I think that's where the incident started.
And we could see there that the referee David Campbell had spotted the incident immediately, that McDermott went in but allowed advantage. But the Australians not taking the shot at goal, keeping the pressure on Wigan. Over 2 minutes of stoppage time. These 6 tackles here, crucial for Wigan. They mustn't let Australia score again.
I think in previous tours you would have seen the Australians kick for goal there and take the 2 points, but true to Bob Fulton's words, they're keeping the ball alive and going for the tries. And there's another one there by Michael Hancock.
Well, it's just too simple. I said they mustn't let them score again. They have done, but in all honesty, they can't stop these world champions. Spectacular scoring, 26-6 for Australia against the British club champions. And it was simple movement, simple passing, looking for the overlap, and they found it with Hancock.
From the play ball, just quick distribution of hands, miss move, and then they always had the numbers on the outside. Ran off a good ball this time, the pass went behind. Hancock steps inside Robinson to go over the line.
Yes, straight across the line, and of course Paul's committed, Robinson's committed, and then Hancock, doesn't he step well off that left foot, and it's a try. Meninga looking to add the extra 2 points. As I said earlier, one of the very few straight-on kickers in the game these days. This used to be all the vogue many years ago, but not now. It's more around the corner style, and this style doesn't seem to be too successful. So, no goal there for Meninga. 26-6 still for Australia.
Try fast hands across the line. Ricky Stewart, long ball. Sirinen offloads, ran off again without taking the tackle. Then Hancock, that step off that left leg, beats the cover to the try line.
Sirinen driving in just over the Australian 20-metre line. Good resistance. And the time stopped again, Mr. Campbell. Stopping the clock.
Should have charged here there. Barry McDermott went over the top. Mick Cassidy went a little bit high, and Barry came over the top of him. So that was a slightly high tackle, and I think the referee's going to call him out here exactly for that offence.
Well, here we see the Kangaroo, and it certainly leads the elbow, does McDermott. Very similar to Kelvin Skerritt. Again, no need for that, and it looks to be Paul Sirinen. He's certainly in some difficulties there, and he's a big man who takes a powerful knock, but as he comes in here He goes side on, and there we see that elbow. I'll be very, very surprised if McDermott isn't spoken to and dealt with by the referee.
That's frustration in the Wigan game. Frustration we don't normally see off this club team. You know, they're usually a very controlled side, and that was an aspect of the game we don't want to see. And I just hope that Paul Sernan's all right and returns to the field soon.
Well, he certainly looks to be in considerable difficulty. The Australian physiotherapist certainly wanting to take him off to have him looked at in the dressing room. A very nasty incident. But Mr. Campbell is going to play on as soon as Paul Sernan is off the field. Very, very groggy.
For the second half, Joe Lydon and Ray French.
Yes, Steve, they certainly have been awe-inspiring strike scorers there, like Steve Renouf, and it's the pace and the passing that really, Joe, has excited me.
All departments they've been outstanding. We mentioned that they try and play an attractive brand of football, and that's exactly what they've done the first half. They've kept the ball alive, they've thrown it wide, they've brought the short ball inside, and really they've had Wigan defence in tatters at times.
Yes, it's very unusual to see the Wigan defence in tatters, but if any side can reduce a defence to tatters, it's these green and golds. Paul Aitchison coming on for Wigan, and Frano Botica off at the moment. So another substitution. Paul Aitchison coming on, and it's Aitchison who gets his first touch there, number 14, sends it to Andrew Farrell. And even the wingmen like Saylor coming in to help with the tackling. Wigan trailing 26 points to 6. Plenty to do. Can they do anything? Here's one man who can. Not this time. Martin O'Fire. 12 tries this season, but in sparkling form. That's to Clark. And Graham West there with plenty to think about. Edwards testing out Hancock. Good tackling by Paul. And substitute David Fairley. A try scorer up there against Cumbria. Australians already beaten Cumbria and Leeds by 2 record scores, and could be heading for one here at Central Park if Wigan don't tighten that defence.
That would have been the big call at half-time, I think, from Graham West. They'd have said to the Wigan lads, listen, you have to get your defence in order. We have to slow them down around the play of the ball and move it wide. And also, when you've made the tackle, stop them releasing the ball to support players. That'll be the big call at half-time, and let's hope that the Wigan players can do it.
Just a rundown on the injuries from half-time. Kelvin Scout, well, he's certainly got severe damage to his left thumb. He'll have an X-ray on Monday. It's touch and go whether he can play in 2 weeks' time. Paul Sernan of Australia has concussion. He'll be taking no further part.
Well, certainly Ellery Hanley, the coach for Great Britain, won't be happy at that news with Skerritts. Renouf knocking on. Referee David Campbell telling the Kangaroos just to hold the push as Paul Aitchison comes away with the ball. Has been the regular fullback this season here at Central Park. McDermott, powerful lad, signed from Oldham in the summer. Considered by many to be the heir apparent at prop forward. Jason Robinson, one lad who's looked dangerous in the Wigan colours. Clark. Farrell. Australia massing their defence around the play of the ball, forcing Sean Edwards to move back inside. To Tuimala. He's got a little space on the outside. Oh, well taken by Tuimala. He's driving it down, and that's a try! Oh, that's a superb try by the giant All Black. He made something out of absolutely nothing there. Beautiful piece of football. A little chip kick over the top. He gathered the ball with one hand. He's so delicate on his feet for such a big man, and then shrugged off the full-back at the corner.
He did make something out of nothing. To a viewer who didn't know him, he may look clumsy, but he has all the skills here. The little chip, the fancy footwork, regathers the ball on the run, and then he's got strength and power to take him past the defender, little step and over the line. That's a great try and exactly what Wigan needed.
He certainly exhibits all the skills here. Edwards hemmed in on the inside. Martin Hall gets the pass. Now just look at Tringamala here. He's almost obstructed. He has to force his way through. Takes that ball beautifully with the left hand and steps inside. Superb effort. And Wigan fans' emotions rise again. The kick from Andy Farrell from the touchline. Not got the accuracy, no goal, says referee Campbell, but at least good heart there for Wigan. 26-10. Wigan down, but not out.
There was actually nothing on, really. They went back to the blind side. The Wigan team went back to the blind side, and Inga, little chip over the top, beats Wendell Sailor and Bradley Clyde for pace, regathers very, very well on the inside, and then steps just inside Mullins to crash over. Let's just hope that puts the heart back in Wigan team and they make no mistakes on this set of six, and a good kick and chase. That's exactly what they need.
Signed for £400,000 last January and making a big impact now. Dennis Betts. And Wigan as well, Joe, they need to retain possession and play the sixes out, don't they? There were far too many knock-ons in the first half.
Yeah, the ball handling was not very good from the Wigan side. They were forced into mistakes by good defence by Australia, but still they have to retain the ball if they want to put any pressure on the Australians at all.
Robinson coming inside and shrugs off number 16 there, David Fairley. Betts on the fifth tackle. Mr. Campbell getting Australia right back, creating plenty of space between these two sides. That helps for a good game. And the sun troubling Brett Mullins here. Probably not used to too much sun down there in the colder Canberra.
I think he'll have seen a lot more than they do at Wigan.
Dean Page charging in. A surprise selection, this lad from Canterbury Bankstown, but certainly repaying coach Bobby Fulton's confidence in him.
Well, he's proved his ability already on the games he's played on tour, and I'm sure he'll be very disappointed if he doesn't take a test shirt.
Walters showing once again that expertise around the play of the ball, making valuable yards. Well, the ball wasn't played there, but play on, says Mr. Campbell. Well taken by Paul Aitchison. Robinson again, helping the forwards out.
Always wants to get involved, Jason Robinson. I think he's been policed a little closer this half after that try in the first half, but he'll still be there or thereabouts looking for the ball.
And I must say that not only Robinson, but the boy McDermott's having a very good game, Joe.
Yeah, he wanted to be on from the start. He was disappointed to be on the bench, and now he's got his chance. He has to prove himself and run hard and tackle hard.
Sean Edwards can't find any way through. The fifth tackle, surely Wigan will put this ball right downfield. Martin Hall having a go at that. Picked up well by Hancock. Rarely goes down to the first tackler. Stewart's, Daly, and Clyde running off him, and now just look at the pace. He's got Wendell Sailor on his outside, Renouf inside. No, not the best of passes. Picked up well there by Clark, and that's superb loose forward play. He covered back 30-40 yards, did Phil Clark, in the right position for the mistake. But really, Bradley Clyde should have moved it to Wendell Sailor there.
Yeah, he should have passed on his outside, I think. But Australia again showing their ability to spin the ball wide across their own defensive line, really. They're on their own try line, threw the ball wide and made the break.
I think such has been the pace in this game that one or two of these players beginning to tire. But the gap's still not opening in midfield as far as Australia are concerned. Martin Hall coming away well there from the acting half-back position. Henry Paul, the chip kick. Well put up by Brett Mullins, and a good counter raid from Mullins. Now then, this man, 6'3", he's long, he's tall, he can stride, and he's going to score a try out of absolutely nothing. I mentioned right at the beginning of the grandstand programme to keep an eye on this man. That's what he can do, Brett Mullins. A magnificent performance down under this season. He spotted the gap, put his head back, and he had the pace to outrun everybody.
Henry Paul had made the kick through. It was neither here nor there. He didn't want to put it long or short. Got caught in two minds. Brett Mullins picked up the ball, and in the broken field of play, streaks away though. Excellent broken field run in to score.
Here he comes, he's looking for the gap. He sees it, he goes for it. 6'3", a long stride, head back, good athlete. And let's give credit to Phil Clark there, the loose forward. He's back there once again, just hasn't got the pace to stop the try. So, Laurie Daly having an attempt this time. He already has one kick. Obviously, Mal Meninga not quite happy with the English-style ball. On the 20-metre line, towards the new stand here at Central Park. And if we are looking for crumbs of comfort, Joe, they haven't got a goal kicker, have they?
Well, if they keep scoring the tries at the rate they are, they won't need one. That's probably the only thing they've got going against them. Mullins here, tremendous broken field running. He spotted the gap, Henry Paul put the kick through and then missed the tackle, and Brendan Mullins went through the gap that he'd left, and 3/4 of the length of the field to go the try.
And I think that try says something about this Australian side, Joe. Any side that can score from the distances that this Australian side are doing against Wigan, they are a magnificent outfit.
Yeah, they've got it throughout the team, throughout the side and throughout the squad actually. They've got the power and size, and they've also got the speed combined with it. And those three things combined, you know, are terrifying to try and defend against.
And once again, Walters comes away with that ball. He's got forwards with him, David Fairley. He's been given far too much room around the play of the ball, and here the Australians again sweeping forward. Daly on the outside, can't get the ball round Dennis Betts. Good cover there. Still this Wigan pack gallantly, gamely trying to get back there, but the pressure enormous on the British champions. Rarely do they receive attacks like this here at Central Park. Stewart launches a high one to the corner. It's a difficult one for Robinson, but taken magnificently by this wingman. What a game he's having, Jason Robinson.
If anybody in the Wigan team can hold their head up after this game, it'll be Jason. He's had a tremendous game, scoring a try. He's been there on defence and never shirked the workload either in driving the ball forward.
Wigan, and yes, well, that's play on. You can strike at the play of the ball. Ian Roberts could do that. And neither was Hall offside because Roberts had struck for it. Good decision, good refereeing there by David Campbell. Cassidy. Good dummy by Farrell, just couldn't get away. Australia with that very good record here at Central Park. 11 wins since 1908. And penalty for Laurie Daly, not being square at the play of the ball. Shrugs his shoulders, accepts it. Mr. Campbell talking to the players on either side, really sort of calming them down, keeping a good rapport between the sides. It's Cassidy. Drives in. Sean Edwards looking to the blind side. Aitchison, very often you tend to find in rugby league one or two players hiding on the blind side. They're having a rest, but not these Kangaroos. Edwards, just saw the gap closed by David Fairley. Number 16 there for Australia. This side to Henry Paul. Martin O'Fire finds Connolly, but so does Renouf. And Australia back on their own line, on the 5th tackle. Paul again. Saylor, Renouf underneath it. And Sean Edwards doing very well there at the play the ball.
Well, I think he might have been offside there, Sean, but he gets away with it, he gets a tackle.
Fittler. Oh, good pass away from Fittler. Renouf again. He can sidestep off that left foot and then he can run, but a good tackle there by Gary Connolly. Connolly in that centre position now.
You can hear the boos go on the ground there. The Wigan players and I think a lot of people watching the game thought that the tackle had been completed there.
Well, look to knock on to me. Look to knock on to David Campbell. Wigan's head and ball. Mr. Campbell just telling both packs to have a blow, have a rest, have a minute till the ball gets there. Take your time, he says. Penalty. The prop on the near side, Ian Roberts, raising that left foot before the ball went in. You can't do that. He's got to keep his foot down.
You'll watch the prop on the Australian side, Ian Roberts now striking for the ball.
Good attendance here this afternoon, 20,057 here. Well, Ian Roberts is a little bit aggrieved at that. Now then, will Roberts receive 10 minutes in the sin bin for talking back?
Well, the tackle was slightly high, but it was a good tackle. Then he followed down and pinned him down. Gives him a little bit of a facial.
Well, it was a high tackle. There was the use of the elbow there from Ian Roberts, former Wigan favourite, but not this afternoon.
I think that was a good tackle. I mean, it went in hard. It was slightly high, but it was below the neckline. It was on the shoulder region.
Certainly, McDermott relishing the action as a Wigan now. Looking to score. Farrell driving in. At last, Wigan putting pressure on the Australian line. Edwards directing. Gets the ball to Connolly. I think he wanted Phil Clark to come there, actually, but Gary Connolly received it. And a penalty, quickly taken by Connolly, going for the line! Oh, and he scored! Yes! Gary Connolly brings Wigan back into the game. Piece of quick thinking by Connolly. Quick play the ball, speed of thought, speed of foot. Beat Australia, and it's a try for Gary Connolly, his 5th of the season.
Speed of thought and speed of foot, you're right, Ray. He'd had the penalty given for the Australians pulling the ball out. Gary saw that the penalty had been awarded to him, took the ball, tapped quickly. The Australians hadn't retreated the full distance, and he managed to squeeze over the line.
There he is.
Struggling to get up here, Ray.
He's been held down as well, Joe.
Yeah, the ball was pulled out. He tapped it quickly to himself, sought the chance from the gap and went for it.
And it was that man Roberts again too. He's a little bit upset at the moment, is Mr. Roberts.
Well, I think he took a few bangs and a few hard hits. I mean, as the play is in the forward line, he's going to expect those, but I think he might be a little bit rattled for the last 10 minutes, and let's hope Wigan can capitalise on it.
Andy Farrell. Powerful kicker. But not an accurate one this afternoon. Well, we've seen some superb tries, some magnificent play, but we haven't seen really accurate goal kicking. 30 points to 14 for Australia.
Gary struggling here. Ian Roberts pulls the ball out. And the referee let him take the quick tap. And eventually crashed over past Ricky Stewart's knees.
Gary Connolly going off to have some stitches inserted just below his eye there. Fanobotica coming in, so he's allowed 10 minutes in the blood bin. Dennis Betts. Robinson. Very hard work for any side. Oh, tremendous shoulder tackle there from Roberts. Well, you played with Ian Roberts. He's really got his temper up there.
Well, yeah. Let's hope he doesn't do any more of those. That was a tremendous hit there. He timed it perfection. Saw McCaskey taking the ball, and gee, Mick not know what's hit him there, I think.
Well, Mick Cassidy got up and he's still on his feet. And so is Sean Edwards, and using his feet to good effect. Brett Mullins not too confident as to what he should do. And that's good tackling by Cassidy and Jason Robinson. Good running. When you put a good kick through, the chasers have got to be there. Now, Wigan, they've got to keep Australia down here around this 20-metre line. Bradley Clyde in possession. Back to Hancock, coming in the centre.
You notice there, though, how Australia, as soon as they were pinned in a corner, looked to spread the ball very, very wide to the opposite side of the field, just to try and spread the Wigan defence.
David Fairley. Walters again making play around that play the ball area. One of the features for me of this match, Walters' play. Just 20 minutes remaining. Daly juggling, using the ball, now showing his paces. The fifth tackle, Stewart. Electing for a grubber kick this time. Paul Aitchison. And again, we see the effect of good chases there. 4 green and gold jerseys clamped around Paul Aitchison.
And again, it's Jason Rodney who brings it away. He has had a good game. You know, Ray, it's very, very difficult for a winger to get back there. He has to chase all the kicks, and then to be faced by the Australian forwards and the power and size. He certainly hasn't shirked any task.
Wigan certainly not giving up the ghost in this game. Really taking the game now to the Australians. And none more so than this prop per forward there, Joe.
He's played well since he's come on, Barry. He's run very strong and very hard, and he's determined, laddie. As I said before, he wanted to be on from the beginning. Day by Clark there gives Australia back the ball.
The force of some of the tackling from these Australians, I think, sprising the ball from the Wigan ranks. Roberts. Good tackle there from the smaller man, Henry Paul. But Australia ominously on this 20-metre line. Stewart, for once, not able to get his pass away. Dean Pay. Phil Clark, number 13 there, done a very good stint of tackling, but it's a switch play again from Stewart to Daly. And it's the speed of the play, the ball back to Stewart again. Oh, well taken again by Robinson. Positioned in the right place. Australia, no hope of taking advantage of the kick. But Wigan penned on that line, desperate to get down to the other end of the field. And difficult to break this keen tackling. Dennis Betts. The problem when Wigan do kick, Joe, at any great length down the field, they've got this character, Brett Mullins, to run it back at them, haven't they?
He's a leggy player, but you know, he looks quite rangy, but he can certainly move to good effect, and he's made a lot of breaks. It's very difficult to contain a player like that, especially in an open field. When the defensive line isn't straight, he's always going to cause a problem.
Good battle there between the two giants, Tringamala and Meninga. Tringamala did well there, but Hofire not watching. So it's Australia's head and ball, perfectly positioned for a series of 6 tackles. Wendell Saylor coming in, trying to use that wide sidestep. 2 tries against Cumbria. Fittler, Daly, Meninga. Steve Renouf taking a knock there. Brad Fittler, he's shown all the skills that he used when he was playing at standoff for Penrith, now converted loose forward. Oh, a long pass. Just couldn't be taken there by Laurie Daly. Off his boots. Aitchison.
Laurie Daly looked then as if to say sorry to Ricky Stewart for not catching it. That's probably the only bad ball that Ricky Stewart's given today.
Clark. Good play. Henry Paul not had the opportunities out wide, being well covered. But here's one lad who has really tried in this cherry and white jersey, Andy Farrell. And 15 handling errors, possibly to be expected in a game as wide and as expansive as this. Hall to Ingamala. Really, it might employ Wigan, Joe, to bring Inga to Ingamala in mid a little bit to try to blast a hole through.
Yeah, it was placed there by Graham really to cover Marvin Inga, but oh dear. It was put there to cover Marvin Inga, but he's not getting the breaks himself, so maybe you're right, maybe he should come into the middle and look for a little bit more work.
Hancock. The game in a little bit of a stalemate at the moment. Wigan tackling well, sensing that they've hauled themselves back into this game. And one never knows whether Australia are settled back content. But that's interesting. This half possession, 64% for Wigan, Joe.
But they've not had the possession in Australia's danger zone near their line. They've had it, you know, through Australia been kicking and Wigan have been taking the ball almost on their own line. They've had a lot of possession, but they haven't had the territorial advantage.
Yep. This is where possession counts, on the 20-metre line of your opponents. The ball to Saylor. Oh, he beats a fire on that outside, but he doesn't beat Tuingamala. Good work by Tuingamala there. He got back, but he's a tricky customer, is this Brisbane Bronco. Large, exaggerated sidestep. Always dangerous.
Yeah, nice bit of footwork here. Beats him out of the fire, flat foots him, goes round him, and then it's only Inga coming across that manages to get him in touch before he releases the ball. It was good cover by Tuingamala there.
Wigan in possession once again. As Joe was saying, it's the possession at the other end of the field that really counts. Henry Paul. Good run to Botica. Now then, he's got a fire with him. Edwards, but the support's run out. Oh, and he's lost that ball. Ricky Stewart comes up with it, but a knock-on. A knock-on against Ricky Stewart. He was in there very, very quickly.
There's some slick handling and a good break, but then Sean Edwards just run out of support. He's given a knock-on there. That might a little bit harsh, that.
Terry O'Connor, another powerful prop forward signed by Wigan in the summer, looking to come on. Botica. Henry Paul, he spotted the gap, but he couldn't go through the gap. It was good work by Daly and Renouf again. Farrell. And a good sense of humour there from Mr. Campbell to Roberts. He said, look, I might miss some things, but I don't miss that. And this is what he doesn't miss. The ball sprised out. It's like opening a can of corned beef, trying to open this Australian defence, isn't it, Joe? It's so difficult, it's so messy.
Yeah, he's trying to open it with a plastic knife too. It's, you know, you can't really find any weakness. It must be very, very hard for Sean Edwards to run into defence knowing there's going to be very, very few gaps.
Well, here's a chance now for Wigan. 10 metres from the Australian line. Botica, the pass to Henry Paul. Paul Aitchison. Australia back on their line. That's the short pass, as I was saying, Tuingamala coming in, but it's a penalty. It looks to be a penalty. Ripping the ball out of Tuingamala's grasp. So another 6 tackles to Wigan. Edwards. Oh, he was looking at Ricky Stewart coming in there on the 10-metre line. 5 more tackles in this sequence. Henry Paul Gets it back to Martin Hall. Hall, no support. Wigan forwards should have been coming onto that ball. And again, another penalty. Roberts interfering at the play of the ball. No point in going for goal. Go for the try, say the Wigan fans. Back to a fire on this side. Robinson forced inside. He was on the touchline. Good play by Robinson. Driving through. Oh, good run. Corkscrew run by the youngster. Australians moving the defence out to the right-hand side. McDermott driving in. Little slip pass, risky, but Edwards gets it. Cassidy does. Well, Wigan lost some ground there. But the roar coming now from this 20,000 fans urging Wigan on. Bottiger to Clark. Clark can't get the ball away. Well clamped by Australia there. And once again they steal ball. And in fact I think it's going to be 10 minutes in the sin bin this time for Mr. Roberts. Well, Ian Roberts said he couldn't wait to come back for Wigan. He played 19 times for the champions in 86, 87, and he ends up being sin binned. But Wigan on the attack. Farrell driving over the line. Oh, he's just held back. This is a good performance by Wigan. This is character. Coming back at Australia. Back to Edwards. To McDermott. Oh, a risky pass again. Still out. To Igamala, driving in. Still Wigan on the attack. Edwards calling the shots that stand off there. To Henry Paul. Can't get the ball away. Good tackling again by Renouf. This Australian defence holding. Edwards looks for the long ball. He finds it. Oh, that's a risky pass from McDermott. Australia coming away. Big Meninga. And suddenly the pressure off the Australian line. Just 10 minutes left in this third match of the John Smith's tour. 30 points to 14 for Australia. But a creditable performance in this second half, Joe, from Wigan.
Yeah, Wigan have picked the game up a little bit and picked the tempo up, but that was tremendous scrambling defence by Australia. They must have held out 3 or 4 sets of 6 there before Barry McDermott decided to throw a speculative pass, which was intercepted by Wendell Salem.
Yes, they certainly, as Joe said, scrambled the defence, got to the corners. Gary Connolly waiting to come back. Back to Daly, to Fittler. Oh, Fittler tries to step off that left leg. Clyde. Dean Pay likes to run at the heart of things. Furley. Meninga. And good defence. I think both of these teams will welcome the bath and the hot showers at the end of this game. It's really been a competition. Oh, good long pass. Renouf. What a forward pass. Well intentioned. And once again we see Australia there stretching Wigan wide, but the pass not accurate.
Yeah, they've thrown it wide here. Quick hands, quick transference again, but that ball was just slightly forward there. Jason Robinson did exceptionally well here to lay off and just cause that bit of hesitation.
And it occurred on the 6th tackle, so the ball handed over to Wigan. To Igamala. He's enjoying that battle with Meninga. Oh, now then! A fire almost away. Wendell Saylor just managed to get that leg. But this is good work from Wigan. Henry Paul beats one man, beats two, scrambles along the floor. And Connolly back in the game. O'Fire. The dummy. O'Fire now then. Has he got the pace on Mullins? No. But he's got the pass back inside. Tremendous stuff here from the British champions. And suddenly it's Australia on the rack. Wigan, move it. Sean Edwards. Driving in. Australia once again back on their own line. Hall to Farrell. Can't quite get the ball away. On the 5th tackle, Robinson going himself, puts the chip kick. Well, he's flattened. The crowd roaring for a penalty try, but in the opinion of the referee, it would have scored. That's the word, would, when the ball is kicked, and I don't think for 1 minute that Robinson would have got there, Joe.
No, he's quick, but I don't think it was that quick. I think it has struggled to get to that ball, the speed it was going.
But let's pay credit to Wigan. At one time they were reeling, at one time they were really going under, but they've come back and they're hitting Australia hard.
I think both teams now are tiring though, Ray. There's a few mistakes through tiredness creeping into the game. The biggest factor that makes you tired though is the Australians' ability to take a tackle, you put all that effort in, and then they release the ball out to the back. And it's very, very hard to control.
Connor, very keen, very eager to get into the action. Laurie Daly, one of the key figures in this Australian side, so quick yet so powerful. Oh, the long pass and a forward pass again. I think Ricky Stewart really is trying to pull the wool over the referee's eyes here with this.
With Wigan's Frano Bottiger. Frano, Wigan learned some lessons in the second half, haven't they?
Yeah, our defensive performance in the first half was pretty abysmal, and we knew that we had to sharpen up a bit, and we've done so, but we've still let them run too much, given them too much room, and with a class side like Australia, they're going to capitalise on it, and that's exactly what they've been doing.
And this is a class side, isn't it?
It certainly is. We're certainly not playing up to our potential, and we've let ourselves down a little bit, but we haven't given up, and there's still a bit of time to get some points on the board.
Thanks, Frano.
I think those words from Frano Bottiger sum this game up. We haven't given up, and Terry O'Connor, signed from Salford, comes on. Steve Menzies, number 17, the young player of the year, wanted to come on for Australia. Edwards trying to dart away.
You see how fast the gap closed. Sean Edwards saw the gap in the Australian defence, and as quickly as he noticed it, it almost shut tight again.
Yes, in a normal league game, that would have been through.
Well, that would probably be 4 points had he gone through there and the support would have been there. But the Australians are so good at closing those defensive lines, those gaps, and really shutting the Wigan play out.
Kick picked up by Edwards. Well, is it another 6 tackles? No, he adjudges that Andy Farrell knocked on, and Sean Edwards absolutely irate at that decision. We'll have a look at it now. Yes, Farrell did knock it forward, but I also think he was obstructed, Joe.
I think he was obstructed, and I'd like to look at that from an overhead view if it was possible, just to see whether it did go backwards, that ball, or whether it went forward or not.
Australia then just consolidating, settling back. They are winning. They're winning comfortably. They don't have to do anything spectacular now, just hold the ball. That's exactly what Dean Pay's doing, and he's held it well all afternoon. Walters. That looked a forward pass. That is a forward pass.
Yeah, the Australians are getting a little bit sloppy here, Ray. You know, it's not the class performance to end off the game and the quality they've been playing.
You know, Joe, a couple of years ago we did have the ruling whereby, well, we look at this first, Joe.
Yeah, this is the one I was wanting to look at, where Andrew Farrell goes, and I'm sure that ball went backwards. I don't think it went forward at all. I think that could have been play on. I think the referee was wrong then.
Yes, I think you're right. I think he was obstructed.
And it's understandable why Sean Edwards was so...
I was just saying about these forward passes, Joe. A couple of years ago, we were actually giving penalties for forward passes.
Yeah, that's right. The Australians want to play that type of football. You know, they used to play it very, very tight, mistake-free football. And in the last 10-15 minutes of this game now, they seem to have got a little bit slack.
So it's
maybe
Wigan.
they can afford to do though, Ray, with the scoreline at 30 points to 14.
Yep. So it's Wigan, just 3 minutes left, but finishing the stronger. Attacking down that blind side to Paul Aitchison. And interesting, Australia 11.
Yeah, but we've mentioned on several occasions that they do try and get rid of the ball.
And it's a try! Well, a try! An element of luck for the Fire, but it was a powerful plunge by Dennis Betts that brought about the try. The Fire, all credit to him, he left his wing, he came back inside. He was hunting for tries. He's been hungry all season, and he picks up one. But all credit to Dennis Betts, it was that powerful plunge that did it.
Martin Offiah doesn't like to be left out of the try scoring in any game, especially against the world champions Australia. Dennis tried to get the ball back inside, it bounced off an Australian player, and Martin Offiah was on hand to dive over and score the try.
It certainly did. It was good thinking here by Betts. The ball came off Bradley Clyde and off fire pounces. 4 points.
And surely this must be 6 as well. Andrew Farrell taking the kick. I don't think he'll miss this one. I hope I don't put the jinx on him. But this should bring the score back up to 20 points for the Wigan side.
So, Andy Farrell with what looks a simple kick, and in fact turns out to be a simple kick. Well, when we had that half-time score, who would have thought this would have been the final result? And it's not the final yet. 30 points to 20.
Dennis Betts on the surge. Pearl Flood tries to turn the ball back inside after the tackle's made here. Bradley Clyde bats the ball down and Martin Afaya on hand to dive over. He's always there or thereabouts. He's going to get a try in most games.
That takes him up to 13 tries with Alan Hunt, the St Helens wing. And that's kicked off. It's not bounced in play, it's gone dead, and that means a kick to Wigan on the halfway line. Bad mistake by Australia.
The Wigan team haven't given up by a long way, and maybe they see a glimmer of hope here with the Australians making a few mistakes in these last 10 minutes, and the score narrowing to 10 points.
Can we see a try? Can we see a try in this last minute? Wigan certainly looking for one. And Australia seem to be hanging in here to Henry Paul. To Connolly. Connolly puts that chip kick through, and fire's going. He's putting the pressure on Saylor, as does Gary Connolly. And it's Australia who've been having to defend in this half. Good play there by Mullins. Rannoff. Into injury time now. But a good performance by Wigan, looking to be absolutely ravaged at half-time. They came back. A lot of credit. And really, I think whetted the appetite for everyone for that John Smith's test at Wembley here on Grandstand in 2 weeks' time.
I don't think Graham West will see it as a good performance, and I'm sure the players, when they analyse it themselves, they too will say that they were disappointed with the way they played, particularly in the first half. But they have come back well. They've kept at the Australians in the second half, and only mistakes like that have cost them.
Well, there is the final score. Australia's dominance over our club teams continues. Still unbeaten outside the Test arena in 16 years. But that victory was hard-earned. Ian Roberts now and Dennis Betts embracing all is forgiven, and the youngsters, I think, applauding both sides there. Certainly, it's a great...
Scrum Down with Shire Ford dealers supporting great rugby league.